President. Good evening. And welcome to our council meeting for August 21st, 2025. At this time, I'm going to ask Councilman White to give us the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time. We thank you for allowing us to be together to discuss all of the issues pertaining to this Allendale County. We just thank you for the citizens who are present. We thank you for all of the citizens in our county. We ask that you would just continue to protect Allendale County. We ask that you would just guide us and lead us, that every decision that we make tonight be in your will and in the interest of the people. These blessings and all others we ask in your precious Son, Jesus Christ's name, for sake. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Mr. White. The next item is a declaration of a quorum, and we do have all 5 council members here, so we declare a quorum. Item 4, approval of the agenda.
I move.
Okay, moving properly second that the agenda is up for approval. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Ayes have it. Item 5, approval of our minutes. Our regular council meeting of 6/19/2025 and our regular council meeting of 7/17/2025. Can I get a motion?
I move.
Second.
Moving properly second that we approve the minutes of 6/19 and 7/17/2025. Let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes? Ayes have it. And again, welcome. At this time, we will move directly into public comment. And we have 2 outstanding citizens that want to address the council. And Mrs. I say Ann Rice.
Good afternoon, everybody. Keep Allendale County beautiful. It's time for fall cleanup. And so our fall cleanup is going to be October 3rd and 4th. And this gives you all the information. And we hope that we have a successful one. We've had really good cooperation and hope that we will this time. The second thing, I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but last year we had a day when we gathered up appliances and furniture. You know, people called in, and the Salt baseball team helped us load it. We took it all to the recycling center. It helped particularly senior citizens who had heavy things they could not manage. And so we got those things that could possibly have ended up on the side of the road. We got them to the recycling center. So and we're going to do that again on October 24th. It's a Friday. And so if you know people that may have things, be sure and tell them to call and make an appointment for them to be picked up. And the other thing that we talked about at our last meeting, and I talked to Lottie about it, because she's the one that started the neighborhood associations. And so we're going to make a real effort to get the ones that aren't operational back operational, and maybe have some new ones formed, because we feel like if we can get those working, then we'll have more participation in the neighborhoods. You know, people start feeling a little pride, do a little bit better. So we're having a meeting in September, and we'll be publicizing that. But if you're in a neighborhood or in an area that doesn't have one, you know, you might want to talk to some of your neighbors and say, hey, let's see if we can get together and get this organized and start working together. So, but overall, I think that we're very blessed to have Mr. Teeter, you know, working with us on the letter. And our sheriff has been very cooperative. We really appreciate all that. They've done a lot since we've really started. We've gotten a lot of things cleaned up and doing a lot of good. So I do appreciate all that they do, and they're doing a great job. Thank you
so much. And I think most of us who travel the county have seen the difference.
Yeah, in fact, Danny says that Allendale's the cleanest of all his counties.
Good. Good.
So, you know, that
It shows.
That's a good thing. So anyway.
Okay. Thank you so much. Next we have Mrs. Major. And say update.
I'm sorry?
You say is update.
Yeah. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. It's been at least several months since the council has given any kind of an update on the progress of the fire department and how much progress they've made for the ISO rating to get that fixed. I know that numerous improvements have been made, such as training and personal breathing equipment. Has there been any further progress? Have we applied for a reevaluation? If not, why not? That can be done. If our major shortfalls have been corrected, you can do that through the ISO National Processing Center. They will reevaluate you. Any information that you all can share regarding that at this point would be most appreciated, at least by me and I'm sure many other citizens.
I've got a small report on that in my.
Okay,
my
you do?
council report.
Okay.
It's very little, but.
Do what?
It's very little, but I'll update you.
Anything will help. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're down to visitors. And I don't. Oh, Horace, okay.
If your business is anything out there, you
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Councilman. I come before you tonight to give you a bit of an update relative to the renovation of the museum, and we're moving along quite nicely. As you recall, we received approval from this council to go ahead and start spending money toward renovating the program. First thing we had to do was find out what condition the building is in. We went through a competitive bid process and chose a company out of Charleston called Constantine Engineering. During the month of July, they came in, four teams came in and did a top-to-bottom assessment of the condition and needs of the main building, the one-room schoolhouse in the back, and that little shed in the back. The document that I presented you earlier provides a summary of the things that need to be done relative to the main building. The first focus, we have divided the museum project into two phases. The first phase is to do the first floor and other pertinent things to the main building, the museum itself. And that would include the roof, and we've discovered also recently that there's some problems with the floor on the second floor which have affected the ceiling on the first floor, so that has to be remediated as well. We have money available from USDA, but in order to get the biggest bang for the buck and to be efficient in how we get this done, we're going to group elements of this work into pockets or group related things, because we want to pay the contractor progress payments after he's completed a set of tasks. For instance, once he completes, we say one of those buckets of tasks would be the interior of the building, just as an example. Then we will have it inspected once he finishes the work to make sure that he's in compliance with state and federal code and the requirements of the scope of work. And then he will receive a progress payment if in fact he's in compliance. That way we can manage the money very efficiently and meet the reporting requirements of USDA. Okay? Now, there are two things that we hadn't anticipated, but I guess we should have because of the age of the building and because it hasn't been occupied for some time. Remediation. CCI, with whom we have a contract for inspections, and Constantine Engineering have advised us that we have to complete certain remediation efforts before we can begin the renovation. Part of the assessment that was done in July looked at hazardous materials, asbestos and lead, and also the structural soundness of the roof and that second floor. In terms of the asbestos and the lead content, if you look in the material here that I gave you, there's a summary of the things that have to be done relative to that whole listing of things. And in your package, if you look at the last 3 or 4 pages, you'll see a table. And that table identifies in red and blue areas of the exterior and interior of the building that were found to have lead, which will have to be abated as well. Now we have to do this remediation in some shape, form, or fashion before we can actually start the renovation. We have a meeting next week with USDA to talk about disbursement and how we wish to approach this from a progress payment perspective. And we also have a meeting next week with Constantine Engineering, the gentleman, the group that did the assessment, because we have some questions that need clarifying based on the report.
You
Okay?
didn't sit down with Constantine once the report was delivered?
Have we, that's what we're doing next week.
Okay,
This-
so
this
you
is-
have not. Normally, they would sit down with you before they issue the report, so you wouldn't,
They issued the report, and we had an agreement in the statement of work that once we had a chance to review the report, then they would come out either
Okay.
to meet with us,
so
or,
that was your agreement.
that's right.
Get the report in hand, let your
Have a
committee
time to
review
digest
it,
it.
and then bring them in
Right.
with questions and what have you.
Right.
Okay,
Okay?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And here's another wrinkle. We have to have, for progress payments to work, we have to have an independent inspector to look at the work completed at each step of the way. Now, that was something else that we really hadn't, we had talked about it, but we really haven't factored it in. Now, I'm not suggesting that any of this is going to require some additional funding, I'm just giving you a heads up. And these are things that we have to do to bring the building ultimately up to state and federal code, both from a hazardous and safe perspective, and to put it in conditions so that, you know, we can get another 30 years of use out of the building. Okay, any questions? Ann, did I miss anything?
No, just, they talk about doing a lot more than we plan to do.
Right.
I mean, they talk about complete renovations, not planning. to do.
Sure,
That's
sure,
what we have to
sure.
do. So when you see, you know, things that, like taking the aluminum siding off, we're not taking the aluminum siding off.
No,
you
we're
know.
not.
Well, even with asbestos,
Well, that's some of the questions we're gonna bring up with them, because the tile is under the flooring.
well,
And then I don't see why we have to do anything with it, it's under the flooring.
a lot of places, they cover it up.
That's right. So that's one of the questions when we discuss.
We need
when
to-
on Tuesday.
Yeah, we need to get guidance from them as to whether we will be in compliance with the regulations if we cover that up. There are 3 areas inside the building where we have a tile issue with asbestos. It's blue, green, and brown tile. So we have to find some way to do that, to remedy that situation without having to take up the whole floor. Okay?
So we don't think we'll have to do that, we just
Right.
have to
Right.
make that point.
Yeah, and in terms of lead-based paint, OSHA regulations say that you don't have to remove, and I'm gonna have this clarification on this, but because I'm not a safety expert, it appears to be saying that you don't have to remove all the lead-based paint unless it's chipping the peeling.
Sure.
You can remedy the situation just by painting over it with non-lead-based paint.
Absolutely.
So we have some options in
Some
that.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sound like you're moving in the right direction.
Thank you.
Please keep us posted.
But we will, our meeting with USD, we're gonna have to change the scope of the grant to begin
Right,
with.
sure.
Because, well, you know, it's been open to the rain for 4 years. You know, so things have changed since we got the grant, so.
Think we're gonna be able to get more money?
We'll have to apply for more to get more, but I mean, you know, I mean, we'll get this process underway before we apply for
Okay,
more.
okay.
But so we have to go to them to get permission to change the scope of each grant, so that we do it in the order that we need to do it.
Well, my first priority would be, before you start doing anything interior, is to,
Absolutely. The roof,
yes,
yes.
secure that roof.
That's the first,
Okay.
that's the first.
Well, actually, the first,
Well,
not
actually-
just the roof, but it's remediation as well.
Any
Before
remediation we have to do has to go first.
The remediation has to happen before you do any renovation.
I know, but it's no good to do remediation, you got water pouring down.
True, but maybe we can find a way to manage both of
Okay.
those in this first stage.
But that is the first priority.
Okay. Right. Sounds
Okay.
good. Appreciate what you've done.
Thank you.
And Constantine certainly was pretty thorough, and a little more than what I expected.
We
be
intend to
honest
keep you apprised of everything as we move along, at least on a monthly basis. And we do have a question, and this is probably not the forum to take that, but there's some language I read somewhere about council having to approve expenditures. So we need to explore that a little
with
bit.
you. We definitely gonna do that. We definitely gonna have to do
We
that.
need to understand how that process is going to work.
Yeah, that's,
Okay?
And Clay can fill you in on that,
All right, very good.
okay?
Okay, thank you.
Let me ask a question, and Ann, you may be able to help, maybe some of your committee folks. What's the historical significance of the building itself? Have you done any research on
Well,
that?
it was a private home to begin with, and then it was used as a tourist home.
Okay. And what's the date of construction?
It was built in the 1934.
1935? So it's 90 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but first it was private residence and then a tourist home. And the back room that was added.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Now we're down to our council report. Vice Chair, Mr. Cheney.
Well, Chairman, good evening, everybody. I only have a few reports. The first one is from the Recreation Department. They are having a sneaker ball. It's going to be on August the 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Brandt Building. Yes,
Tomorrow.
that's tomorrow.
Yes.
The fee is $10, and that's for everyone that can come and participate to participate. And that's at 6 o'clock tomorrow at the Brandt Building. $10 fee. Also, I have a report from the Sheriff Department of what they did as far as covering the county and the town. And they done a whole lot. The total county calls for service was 91. They had the total city calls was 162. Total traffic stops was 265. Total traffic tickets issued was 248. They made 19 arrests. They made 9 littering cases. They had 41 calls from the animal shelters. 14 dogs were captured, 4 sent to rescue, and 22 dogs are at the shelter at this point. Total of 102 calls handled by phone and other escorts, civil matters, and welfare checks. And total traffic accident was 12, which the total calls from 911 was 783 calls. And that's a whole lot that the Sheriff Department is doing. And we appreciate all that they do for the city and the county. And we thank you, Sheriff, for what you do. You and your deputies. That's it, Brother Chairman.
Okay. Just got one question, Sheriff. 248, ticket issue, 248?
Yes,
What was the average price per ticket?
lowest was $76.50, the highest was $1,080.
What's the difference?
$1,080.50.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Vice Chair Cheney. We're down to Mr. Combs.
I'd like to piggyback off of Mr. Cheney. I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Department, and especially thanks to Sergeant Corey Teeter for his dedication in helping keep Allendale County clean. I know he's been a busy man, him and some other guys. I think he told me the other day he's written $10,000 worth of illegal dumping and littering tickets in the last three, 4 months. So kudos to him and his team. It's also been brought to my attention that all these littering and illegal dumping tickets that we're writing, basically all the money is going to the state because the county does not have a current illegal dumping and littering ordinance. So,
Could I ask you a question about the illegal dumping? Does it only apply to the county? Is it illegal dumping within the town as well?
I couldn't hear you.
The illegal dumping, does it only apply to the county? Does it apply to within the town limits?
It will apply if the county adopts an ordinance and it's on the book. If the sheriff's department issues a citation, the money will go to the county. It does not go to the city. Because we do not write any violations in front of a city judge. It has to be in front of the magistrate.
Well, we need an ordinance.
so that's my, I'm following up with this. I would ask either Sergeant Teeter or the sheriff to get in touch with Walter and maybe Clay and get some clarity on the ordinance wording that we need to present to council. I'd hope that council will be in favor of adopting the county ordinance for littering. That way we can at least keep some of this money in the county.
Well, I just hope we're not sending it to the state immediately. We are holding on to it.
That's all I have on the sheriff's department. On the fire department, they had a total of 40 calls for this past month. And Chief Stanley reported to me today that the final bids for the St. Mark Fire Department will be in by the end of this week. So hopefully we can get that project moving. And as far as the ISO, this council approved this outside team to come in and help us do the study and tell us what we need to fix and how we need to fix it. And it had been approved. We'd sent an email to administration at the time, and I'm not certain that that bill's been paid yet. I just got a text from the chief now, so let's see. He has been paid.
Mr.
So
Conley?
he's been here once and assessed kind of the situation that we're dealing with. So the county approved it. He has been paid the deposit. He's going to be back in the next couple of weeks to check all the ponds and the water sources and do the drought study. And then he will follow up on his ISO study and give us the results of that and tell us how to proceed to correct the ISO rating. As far as economic development from SCA, got an update today from Danny Black on Hampton Lumber. They have engaged a construction firm. They are finalizing the due diligence period and have scheduled closing for the land for sometime next month. A date has been set for the ribbon cutting in early November. They're just waiting on the governor to confirm the date. And they're currently laying out the design for water and sewer lines from Fairfax to supply that site. And I think that's all I have.
Mr. Conley?
Yes, ma'am.
In reference to the fire station in St. Mark, I know there's limited funds in the 2024 earmark, but there's also other funds in the 2016 one penny sales tax. Will you be considering that and constructing the fire station in St. Mark?
To my understanding, that first penny tax is over, so that money gets rolled over into the new tax. Is that
I mean,
right?
you still have to finish the projects on the first one.
You still can finish after the expiration of
You
it?
have to finish.
Okay, so we'll have another 200 and
Because I have, Mr. Killian, I have a copy of it. I don't know if you have a copy of this for the 26.
Sales tax system.
You do? Okay. Because we have funds in that because,
yeah. So as soon as we get the bids, we'll get with everybody and get with the lawyer.
Roll it over when we have to.
See how to get,
I'm sorry.
proceed with that project. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Conley.
Mr. Conley.
Next, we have Mrs. Jennings?
Thank you.
Miss Jennings, excuse me.
Play with me, will you? The first thing, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a request to Three Rivers about a convenience site. For a couple of years now, I've been asking about a convenience site for 301 South and Highway 3 area where the citizens in that area do not have any place to put their trash. And I've spoken to Mr. Moe before he left about that. So since I think you reported that Allendale County had a shortage in tonnage, and would that help? You know, if we had another place for trash?
That would help considerably. Now, Three Rivers at one time would help us build a convenience center. And I don't think we're in a position to do that, but
Mr. Killian shaking his head.
we're gonna meet on the,
Trevor got out of the transportation business and
we're gonna meet on the 3rd, so I can put that request to them. I think I know the answer, but
So is the answer no?
I think it's gonna be, no, thank you.
So can we, are there any other avenues where we can get a convenience site?
Think the state may have some money?
possibly, but I can certainly check, but most of the time that's gonna be a local initiative.
No?
You see a check.
Would you request? Well, thank you. If
We
you-
will
All
check
right.
and we'll make a request.
All right, I thank you. And also on this past Tuesday, the Office of Aging Committee, along with the interim director and the architects from Davis and Floyd met concerning the walking trail. They're in the process now of drawing up a plan for the walking trail to present to council. They also met with 25 citizens who has some ideas as to what they wanted done on the walking trail. A pavilion will also be built behind the Office of Aging building, and I think the walking trail, I believe it's going to be three-quarter of a mile, William? The walking trail? About a quarter of a mile. The walking trail behind the center, along with vegetation or whatever, and it's supposed to be beautiful once they finish with the design, and before it's done, they will present it to council for approval for the walking trail. And that is only for the design. That's not for the construction of the walking trail. You have questions?
No, I just was curious where the funding for that is coming from. Do they have a grant for the?
I didn't hear you.
Do they have a grant for that construction?
Yes, we have a grant,
Okay.
$325,000.
That was some of the, one of the, I wouldn't say proviso, but
It was earmarked.
earmark money.
It was earmarked.
Okay.
I think some of it have already been spent for a study of wetlands. Is that right, William? The land that the county owns right next door to the Office of Aging building. And also, I met along with Ms. Major and William today with Dr. Murdoch concerning the Office of Aging. And the state has released some funds to cover the month of up to September 30th, month of September. Also, Dr. Murdoch stated that the federal money is supposed to start on October the 1st, but he doubted that it's going to start it's October 1st. But even if it does not start, then the Office of Aging will be able to support the program, the feeding program, Wheels on Meals, until December of February. I think it comes back out in February. And he also mentioned that, and also we have been discussing for several months now, the Office of Aging, and especially the smaller counties that's losing population. And we may have to do some type of consolidation. But at this point, according to Dr. Murdoch, and Ms. Major was there at the meeting, and William, we don't know what consolidations is going to be. Right now, it's just in the discussion. We don't know what we're going to do, but it will only be for the meal program. You know, it won't be for other operations for the Office of Aging. So everything else will be left up to the county and how we're going to do it. Now, one of the things that we discussed today was that other counties are asking for donations from organizations, monetary donations, organizations, businesses, churches, and whatever, to support that program. And so the committee, with approval of the council, we're going to request that donations. Of course, if any individual would like to donate, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely, we're open for donation.
And we,
you can always donate to the county.
But my question is that if we have organizations or businesses that would like to donate to the Office of Aging, how would that be done? Would it go through the Office of Aging? Would it go through the admin office? Do we have to set up a system?
We have to set up a separate donation account for them, and we can do that. I'm just trying to get a handle on the chart of accounts right now, but we can set up a separate account so that money would be separate and used specifically for that purpose.
Okay. Okay. And also another question about the Office of Aging, and we discussed this before, but I'm not sure if it was approved or whether you gave us a go-ahead to do it. And this was before you arrived, Mr. Killian, about renting the building out. Did we not discuss that before?
It's been discussed, and I thought we actually had some rental fees for the building at one time.
I don't remember the rental fees. Do you, Ms. Connor? Ms.
Smith was put in charge of the leisure center. And I don't remember any fees.
Well, I've been contacted several times about rental of of that facility, and I would either forward it on to Laurie and or Mr. Smith. So apparently there's, we've had some rental to take place for small occasion, whether it's reception or birthdays or what have you. So,
Well, can we go forward with that?
yes, I think Clay will take a look at that, see what we can come up with. We need to have an established policy, just like we have for the Bragg building.
Okay.
And for the Lower Savannah River Alliance / former Welcome Center.
Okay.
Okay.
And also, I think I saw Mr. From Public Works. Okay, I think he has a schedule for grass cutting. Mhm. He has a schedule for grass cutting for the county. Would you give it to Mr. White for me, please? And you can report it when you make your report. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the, actually, no, not the last thing. On the public works, Mr. Killian, you mentioned that it was a possibility that we could lease motor graders from Caterpillar, backhoes, or whatever is needed to help you out at Public Works that right now, because if, to my correction, I could be wrong, but I think that the person that's over the Department of Transportation, does it sound right that we have 900 miles of dirt road in Allendale? I think that's what he said.
Mr. Terry says no.
I haven't measured them, but I probably more in the neighborhood of 300.
You said 300?
I feel as that would be more accurate, just my.
Yeah, I think that sounds more like the figure I've heard in the past.
900.
I heard 9, I know what I heard.
900.
I'm asking again.
900 would be paved mileage, I would think, versus,
Well, anyway, we got a lot of dirt roads that we need fixing, We need a lot of dirt roads that need scraping. And you just scraped a road out in the St. Mark area and you're getting a lot of compliments about it, that it was well done. Initially, you were getting a lot of complaints about it, but now you're getting a lot of compliments. It said that the road was well done and they're very pleased. It's a long road. It's like 2 or 3 miles long, but I've been down it once.
3.4.
Blair Road.
It's 3.4 miles.
3.4.
2.4 miles?
3.
3?
Yeah.
I've been down it once, and I don't intend to go back down it again because you can't turn around. You gotta keep moving. But anyway, Mr. Killian, if you could check on to see if we could possibly lease something or rent it or whatever, however you do it. And
They do have a program that it's, CAT has one, Bill and I talked about that the other day, Deere probably has one too. You can do lease to own, or you can lease and then turn it back after so many years and then continue to buy, lease another one. There are different programs out there.
okay, thank you, sir.
We'll see what we can find out.
And the last, my last thing, I would like an update on Orinthia Smith Road in Martin. Mr. Killian, he's one of our citizens that passed away many years ago in the war in Germany. And Germany did something to honor him. And so we're looking at doing something in Allendale County as well. And Attorney Sanders.
Yeah, I'll give you an update. As y'all recall, y'all initially voted to change the name of the road, but then after some consideration, you realized by changing the name of the road, all the residents would have to change their addresses and 911. So y'all decided that we would contact the legislature to put up a marker out there in his honor. And I have done that. Unfortunately, by the time we got around to doing that, the legislature went out of session, and it has to be approved. In order to get the marker, the whole legislature has to approve it. But it is in the process, because I've talked with, Lonnie and the senators' offices, and they have a lady in there who is coordinating it. And I will, I've been in contact with her, but I will contact her again to get an update on what the status is.
Okay, well, thank you, Attorney Sanders, and Mr. Good, Roosevelt Good, he's working on that, raise your hand, Roosevelt. He's working on that project as well, as in Martin, and his mother, has contacted me, because she wanted to know what we were doing about it.
Right.
And so I'm not gonna contact her until, I get a report from you as to,
He's been in contact, we've been in contact, he's been in contact with me also.
okay. And since we're on the Martin area, we recently opened our park, the park in Martin, and there, everyone, I don't know if everyone has received one of these, but they're having a Bigfoot reunion on August the 30th, and the whole county is invited to come out to Martin, and the food is free, parking is free, music, games, they have special guests, and this is in the rural area. This is one of our larger parks and the community in Martin is very proud of this park. And so you need to go out to see, if you can, some of the things that they are doing. We got some Martin residents in here, Allendale, right here. So they're having a large event on the 30th, so if anyone have any free time, Mr. Chair, they invited all council members to come to see what you've done, because you're the reason that the park is open. So they would like for you to show up, because they have on here, they have you identified as special guests. So, Mr. Good, I have told them, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
From 11 until,
Huh?
from 11 until 7,
From 11 until 7?
yes, daylight hours.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Jennings. Mr. White.
Mr. Chairman, Council, I'm going to follow up from what Ms. Jennings was saying with Mr. Terry. Ms. Terry, you provided this grass cutting list. Is this just a list of the 51 sites that will be cut? It's not necessarily a schedule in terms of order.
Well, it is pretty much in order, but that is done bi-weekly.
Gotcha.
And that's very good weather,
Gotcha.
different variables that come into play we have to work around.
All right. So I'll just report that there are 51 sites that have been identified at the county that will be
51?
taken care of.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Now, I'm not going to read them.
That's,
But we do have that.
So when did that start? When does the two-week period start? I know you cut the grass at the Office of Aging this week. When does it start?
Well, it varies, as I stated, rain, one thing, another throws us off, and we try to work around that. Sometimes we go forward, sometimes we fall back, but that list is completed every 14 days.
Well, Mr. Terry, I would like to see, and I know all of the grass needs to be cut, but there are certain areas in the county, like the courthouse, and courthouse, the brand building, the admin office, I call this the law enforcement area in here. When people driving to town on 278, we shouldn't be looking at high grass. So I think that, the grass around this area especially need to be kept up. The brand building, the courthouse. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely.
We can just out accordingly. The weather is playing a big factor this year. We did the afternoon rain and it's very conducive to grass.
But I think the main thing, Mr. Terry, that you said, I think we all agree, you got a 14-day cycle, and you're gonna hit each of the sites within that 14 days period, which I think.
And depending where it falls in that cycle, the way grass has been growing here lately, when it's the last one on the list, then it's naturally gonna be.
There will be some adjustment depending on the weather.
We're glad they built accordingly for events coming up or anything. We try to work with that. And a lot of them get cut twice in that 2 week period.
I think if you can maintain that 14-day schedule, I think that'd be great. And despite all the other things that will come or get in the way, that's gonna kick you off occasionally, but
Well, Mr. Chair, I said that because from my observation in previous years, especially last year, I only saw one person trying to beautify the area, and that was Miss Ann Rice. She would always be planting flowers here, planting on Main Street, Memorial Avenue. I was steering her little golf cart up at the corner, at the post office and everywhere. You know, so I just think that a lot of focus should be placed on certain areas, and that's just the way I feel.
And
I know
think-
you have a 2-week cycle,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that I think focus needs to be placed on certain areas in the county to beautify our county. Because I think at one point, Mr. Killian said you were going to check with Clemson to see what they could do to help us with that. Because we don't care about how the county looks, nobody else, you know.
well,
Ms. Rice always picking up paper and stuff like that and
I just
whatever.
think-
But that's why I said that.
okay. I think that was well said, and I think Ann would certainly volunteer to keep us on point when something need to be done. Please, Mr.
I'm
White.
done.
All right. So, next thing I want to report, I spoke to Mr. Wayne Willis of CC&I, and I requested that CC&I generate reports of permitting applications in the county, and that those reports be given to the Planning and Zoning Commission and also to the county. He said that they're actually syncing a new database, so he's working on that. He was able to give me some numbers. There was one permit that was issued in July, and so far there have been 8 in August to date. But what he's going to do is he's going to generate the report that will tell us who was making permitting applications and what the actions were on those. And one of the things that had happened in the past when Mr. Mole was here was Mr. Mole would go to the Planning and Zoning Commission and would make reports on any permitting applications, and we hadn't had that since he's left. So that's what we want to definitely get back to, so we know exactly where we are in the county. Mr. Willis also told me that there will be a Teams meeting tomorrow. We know that Hampton Industries is the plant that's going to be coming to Sycamore. But there's a Teams meeting with CCI and Hampton Industries tomorrow at 3 o'clock to go over some of the processes with Hampton Industries, so that's very encouraging. Last thing I want to report, Karen Hardison, who is the Salkehatchie and Lower Savannah Watershed Coordinator out of the South Carolina Office of Resilience, she attended, I know, at least one of our Planning and Zoning Commission meetings while we were completing the comprehensive plan. And there was a meeting organized at the Brandt Building on August 5th. I don't know if anyone in attendance tonight was able to be there. I know that Mayor Sauls was at that meeting. Obviously, that was the same time we were at the annual conference with South Carolina Association of Counties. But there was a meeting that was held to address strategies to reduce flooding and build resilience to natural hazards. We know we're in the midst of hurricane season. We know many of the challenges that we had last year with hurricane season, so it's very important that that the county kind of tries to capture as many resources as possible to address those issues. So that's something that's going to be ongoing. She's supposed to be forwarding me the information from the first meeting, and they're going to be continual meetings. So, like I said, maybe some of you who are out there were at that meeting, but that's what's going to be coming up in the future. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
Chairman, I missed one. I need to report on just one.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just missed one. And I have a report, something to report to council and citizens from our interim director for the Office of Aging, Ms. Jackie Jones. She has applied for a grant through for $283,000. She has applied for it, and through Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think. And this is to serve the citizens in the Ulmer, Sycamore, St. Mark, Appleton area, in the rural areas. And this will serve food to senior citizens In her grant, she said that Allendale County is one of the most economically disadvantaged counties in South Carolina, characterized by highest rates of poverty, literacy, and predominantly minority populations. And the county is largely rural and transportation is limited. So she has applied for, this grant is not promised, I mean, it's not guaranteed, but $283,000. And the grant was, she sent the grant in on August the 7th. So she has not heard anything back from the grant, but she asked that I let council know that she's trying to get some extra funds for the Office of Aging to help out in the rural areas.
Did you say the grant application was made to
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Blue Cross?
Yeah, Blue Cross Blue Shield. And the council members would like a copy of the grant
Please.
application.
Would
I was
you-
short of paper, so I have to get a copy. I'll give it to Ms. Counter to make some copies for council.
Just email it to us, Judy, if you don't mind.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Just want to touch briefly on a few things. We did have our Lower Savannah Council of Government meeting in Orangeburg last Thursday, and we had 5 of the 6 county reps attended it. And very good meeting, as I mentioned several months ago. The 301 bridge on the south end, that project will be let sometime in November. So, and you're probably looking at about 2 years, 2.5 years. Hopefully we all can drive over the new bridge. It's gonna be bigger, better, stronger. The next Lower Savannah Council Government meeting will be held here in Allendale, normally the Brant Building,
In October.
in October the 9th. So just mark your calendar, and Judy remind us so we can get some cater quotes and et cetera, so we'll be ready for it. Also, I spoke with the sheriff, and this council approved a couple months ago, Sheriff, to let Fairfax have a vehicle down in the what you would call the Public Works parking lot down there. And the chief of Fairfax has picked out one. We do have all the information on that vehicle. I think it's an SUV type vehicle, and I just wanted to bring it back to council. We already approved a lot in to have it, so we're gonna be asking the chief to get with the sheriff and let's go ahead and move it. We do have a clear title on that vehicle, so it's ready. They can use it, and hopefully will help them in their crime prevention. We'd like to say this to the sheriff. I don't know, for whatever reason, it looks like my area, my district, has been plagued with a whole lot of crime of late. And I can't say why, but I do know that the sheriff department has been pretty much right on it. And I had a chance to observe the officers in action a couple of weeks ago, sitting on my mom's porch and watching what they were doing to apprehend and do their due diligence to catch the perpetrators. And so my hat's off. And we will be meeting with the town of Allendale. I say we, myself and Ms. Jennings, and I think Mr. White going to be out of town. And we're going to sit down with them and just kind of hear from them as to just to hear their concerns and get a better feel for what they're going through. And it doesn't reflect on anything you're doing. I think that's kind of written in stone about where we are. And I think you're doing an excellent job. I think you're just about up to full staff, which is a good thing. And anything we can do, just let us know, and we'll move forward as quickly as we can. I second the budget meeting. We've had one budget meeting, which was held this week, and we got one coming up on Monday, which I think most of us, Jamie, you will not be with us on that one. But I would say to council, you know, let's take a look at everything on the table in terms of the budget. I mentioned day one that budgets can be cut. And, you know, with that being said, you know, we got to look at where we can cut. And I've done a quick analysis of what we're spending. If you look at healthcare, salary, retirement, Social Security, all that for the county, you know, that is taking almost 65% of the revenue that we bring in, you know. So I know we've looked at other communities in terms of healthcare benefits and what they're paying, and I think we're certainly paying probably a little more than we can afford to pay. So I would say the council will take a look at every line item and see where, excuse me, see what the needs are. It's, I think everything pretty much right now needs to be looked at, and we got to cut, simple as that. Because one of the things that I will point out next week when we meet is taking a look at all our resources and also all our bills. How do we cut our bills, expenses, and talking with the treasurer. Our payroll, and it may not be exact, but payroll has doubled within the last 2.5, 3 years. That's unreal. So we just gotta make certain that Matt, you got it on, and but anyway, we just gotta look at everything across the board, see where we are. Also, I mentioned to this council a couple of weeks ago about Three Rivers. Well, we had a meeting with Barnwell and Bamberg County last week at admin. We met with a representative from Parker Pole that actually represent Three Rivers. And I tell you to be on the lookout for some increases. Well, there will be increases coming. You know, we got to build a new cell for our garbage. It's pretty expensive. So we doing the preparation. One of the best things about where we stand now in terms of landfill throughout the state, we're probably in the best position of any landfill. I would go far as saying any landfill in the country. You know, right now we got almost unlimited supply, a possibility of land usage at SRS. So most communities, and I'm talking with Clay in terms of his experience and the most recent experience in dealing with Fairfield County, you know, they're paying probably $15, $20 per ton more than we're paying now. And you take Charleston County, they're paying almost $100 a ton. Right now, we at $37.50 or 70 cents. It's gonna go up, folks. We're gonna have a new management agreement letter that will be coming to council. And our projection, you know, we got enough land that we could actually continue to bury our waste for 100+ years. And there's no other landfill in our state or in the country can say that. So we're sitting on about 1,100 acres that's owned by DOE that we have contract to use as need. And So we're well positioned to take care of waste for the Lower Savannah Council of Government counties, which is 6, and we also include McCormick, Saluda, and Edgefield. So we got 9 counties that participate in Three Rivers. Also, on the 28th, we will have SRS CRO. We will have a tour of the Savannah River site. You know, it's been about 20 years since I left the site, but the SRO board will have a full day tour of the site. And for those of you who don't keep up with the site, it's changing. New management from EM to NNSA, which is good for our region. We talked a little bit about our payment in lieu of taxes that we get. We're working with Baltimore and Aiken County to see if we can kind of shake that tree in terms of trying to get more revenue from DOE. We'll keep you posted on that. And lastly, got a call and talked with the mayor of Fairfax this morning. It looks like Project Legacy is back at the table, and I will brief council in the executive session about that. And have you noticed the work being done on the splash pad? No one has mentioned that, but that's a recreational item, and that's moving quite well. It kind of reconfigurate what we had, but I think the pieces will go back in place. I'm well pleased with what I've seen so far. Yes, thank you. I don't know why I was going to miss this one, but it's probably one of the most important things we did down in Isles of Palm last month. Well, actually, last month, 2 weeks ago. As president of the Association of the County, I had an opportunity to give out what we call our Presidential Cup. And the recipient of that cup was our very own Judy County. Miss Judy. I wish everybody could have been there because she was surprised as I think everybody there. She was shocked.
And that's the top award from the association too. Yeah. That's the top award from the association.
Yeah. Well, very deserving of it, and I couldn't think of anybody in this county, and certainly anyone that helped me as much as you do and helped this council as much as you do, and had the opportunity to recognize you, and glad your family was able to come out and be with us, and I think they enjoyed that portion of it as far as the rest of the activity that went on. It was a good time. It's a good year. I won't say that because I was president for the year, but we did have a very good year in terms of what the Association of the County has been able to accomplish. And glad you were part of it. And unfortunately, I won't be president anymore, so that's my report. Well, thank you, Judy. Okay, now we're down to Allendale County report. Mr. Killian.
Mr. Chairman, you took most of the words out of my mouth, so my report's going to be real short. I was going to talk a little bit more on the payment in lieu of from DOE.
Okay.
We are in fact working with the other 2 counties that have lost acreage to the Department of Energy 9 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it was. And we will be getting an agreement to review that Aiken County is preparing, their in-house attorney is preparing it. You have to do an appraisal every time you want to approach them on them being DOE or NSA, on increasing the payment that they have to, you try to get from them. And every negotiation I've ever had with them, it starts off with, we don't have to do anything, right? Unless you don't want to go there. So the last time we did this, we had Holstein Appraisal Services out of Barnwell do the appraisal. And it was I thought it was relatively reasonable considering what they had to do. They had to go back to 1950 and look at all the properties that were taken in by the site and try to guess what that value would have been had it stayed in that condition since 1950, or what would have happened to it since 1950. We did negotiate with the DOE folks and the lawyers in DOE HQ in Washington. The appraisal was going to cover the land, the buildings, and the timber, and they agreed to let us do that. But the appraisal that they did, what was it, 10 years ago now?
Late.
We sent it to Washington, and they sent back and said, nope, sorry, we can't do timber. I sent them an email from the lawyer and said we could, but we never got anywhere. So the bottom line is we're going to try to make another run at them with a new landlord out there. And what was proposed then and what they're proposing now, what we're proposing now is that the appraisal, which is just over $54,000, we split among the 3 counties based on the percentage of the acreage that each has that is part of the Savannah River site. So in our case, or this time around, the $54,000 will be split between Aiken, Barnwell, and Allendale. Aiken would pay 34.6% of it, which would be $18,711 and some change. Barnwell would pay 63.1%, which is $34,125 rounded. And Allendale's portion is only 2.3%, or about $1,250. So when we see the agreement, when it's done, we'll bring that to you. But I think it's probably a reasonable approach. All they do is tell us no, they might, but we may also get more money out of that payment. It has not been raised at least substantially in some time. So hopefully we'll have a more successful run out of this time. To piggyback on Three Rivers, the Three Rivers Board will meet on September 3rd, hopefully to pass a resolution that will be sent out to each of the councils, the 9 counties, asking them to do a new management agreement and to be prepared for what are really pretty reasonable increases. We're at $37.70 now. The increase that is being proposed to cover the financing, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of $26 million to build a new cell. We'll raise it, it'll still be less than $50.
Oh, yeah.
Per ton at the gate. That's not your transportation, that's just the tipping fee. The chairman mentioned my time in Fairfield, the last budget that I did in Fairfield, and this is why this is such a tremendous asset for you guys in all of the 9 counties, because you have a board that you appoint the members to that controls what happens with that facility. In Fairfield, they are subject to the whims of Waste Management. Waste Management, they contract with them. The county runs the drop-off centers and transports the waste to the transfer station that they own, but they contract with Waste Management to operate the the transfer station and to dispose of the waste at the Screaming Eagle landfill outside Columbia. When I was doing the budget, I asked them in April what that fee increase would be. I figured it would be one. They gave me a number. After second reading, they sent me another letter and gave me another number. So they increased it twice before I even adopted the budget. So when it all was said and done, we're paying $37.70 at the gate. Fairfield's paying $63 a ton to get rid of the trash. And the state average is over 50 right now. So you're going to be, even with these increases, you're going to be under that state average. Anyway, that's an asset that will continue to be an asset for us and will only grow in value for us because we'll be able to continue to get rid of our waste. That's something that I don't think our residents would like if we couldn't take their trash away from them. So. And then the last thing that I have is, I just want to make council aware that I've got 2 titles to vehicles here that was presented yesterday. They're both being proposed to be given to the county from the rescue squad to the coroner's office. One is a Chevy Tahoe 2015. Do not see the mileage on it, and one is a Chevy Silverado 2021. The coroner's office has not had their own transport vehicle, as I understand it, for some time. This will allow them to be able to do the body removals from scenes and transports to autopsies and things like that, instead of relying on the rescue squad and EMS to do that. So I just want to make council aware that these are vehicles that we currently don't have in our fleet, and that we'll start insuring and maintaining if we do accept them. And I understand it's kind of a done deal, at least between the coroner and the rescue squad. But I want to make you aware before I sign titles, and see if you have any questions about that or concerns about that before we move forward.
Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mrs. Anderson?
Very briefly, on the Boogaloo crossing, we're still making progress on that. I was not at the last conference call, but William was. We have gotten new estimates on what it's going to cost, and it's my understanding, and William can correct me if I'm wrong, that they're going to meet with the CDC this week
Next week.
to let them know. And what is the difference?
The estimate is an extra 270,000.
An extra 270,000 with the new estimates on the cost.
And this
I don't know
is,
how much they have now set aside to you. They have a little over 400,000 set aside now for the crossing, and so that's about 50% increase. It looks like.
in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Construction costs are great.
And that's it.
Anything on the Walker? The Walker recreation equipment deal?
I'm drawing a blank.
Fairfax,
No,
that's still pretty much level,
yeah,
or no action, no movement?
no movement.
Okay. Okay, all right. All right, we're down to old business. Update on the water well monitoring and, like,
Mr. Chairman, you asked me at the last meeting, we presented a new contract from Mr. Stanley, who does our DHEC or DES required monitoring of our water well system, for our water system. And he had proposed, he's currently at $6,500 annually or $250 pay per year. He had proposed or requested that council consider doubling that to $500 per pay period or $13,000 a year. And you asked me if I would go back and see if he would put that in on a graduated basis. He's agreed to do, he's supposed to send me a new contract, I've not seen it yet. He's agreed to increase only half the 250 or 125 from 250 to 375 from July 1 to December 31st of this year, and then go to the full 500 from January 1 moving forward after that. I understand you probably wanted a little more than that, but at the same time, considering I don't know how many folks are actually in the business of being able to do this for us, I don't know that it's necessarily an unreasonable request, since he has to go out there virtually every day. He makes a visit virtually every day. So if you contracted with a company to do it, it would probably be $3,000 or $4,000 a month.
sure, sure. Well, I think it was just reasonable to go back, since he lives here, that he would be a little bit more gracious about the increase. I know the increase is something that is bound to happen. Everything has to go up. And so we got 6 months out of it, and we'll deal with it in 6 more months. Okay. Thank you.
But you could, I mean, you could vote to.
I could live with that. If council certainly want to do
Council's make a
that.
motion tonight to
Okay.
approve this contingent upon the agreement being what he says it's gonna be when I get it.
Okay.
Then we'll get you signed.
All right. We'll talk a little bit about it in executive session
Okay.
and we'll,
Okay.
okay. All right, new business. Here again, in item A, recuser sheet, and thanks to Ms. Conner, brought that to our attention based on what's happening in our neighboring county. This is documentation when, for any reason why council would have to recuse themselves. At least this allow the documentation, which I think is something that we need to have for records. Speaking on records, we're gonna be talking about record keeping next month because we got to do a better job. I talked with Walter. I've heard from Walter. I've talked with other county employees. You know, we don't do a very good job of keeping our records, you know, and we just need to do a better job of that. It should be easy to go into our ordinance book and find what we need. I think things are pretty much scattered throughout, so, but anyway, Judy, thank you for this, and I think council had a chance to take a look at it, and what you think, council?
Choose one on me.
I've looked at it, Mr. Chair, but, you know, my first year in council, when I attended the training in Columbia, Attorney DeLoach, you know, said that that is what we needed to do. So, you know, I knew about that the very first year because that was one of the things that was discussed in one of our trainings, that we had to have it in writing that you were going to recuse yourself.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the recusal sheets and let Mr. Killian look them over and see what he thinks is the best.
For you. It's been a push of recent years by the state and the Association of Counties to try to get everybody on the same page. I don't know any county that does it completely correctly. Most people just say they're recusing themselves and then they sit there and stay there. They don't get into the debate, but very few people turn in a written sheet, and that's really actually the way it's supposed to be done. So what we can do, we'll draft you a form for you to look at your next meeting, and then perhaps Mr. Sanders can give you a process of what you're supposed to do when you feel like you have to recuse yourself, what the steps are.
Because you're supposed to recuse yourself even before the meeting. You know, when you see the agenda, you should recuse yourself. And then once you recuse yourself, you should not have any discussion about whatever issue you're recusing yourself from, and should leave the meeting during that time.
Okay, we got a motion.
Do we need to
Just, why don't you
let them bring it back? I'll make a motion that we,
allow
moving
them?
forward,
Yeah.
start using a recusal sheet, allow Mr. Killian and Mr. Sanders to come up with a sheet to implement for us to use. We don't have to look at it and approve it.
Okay.
Just whatever they come up with is what we start using. That's my motion.
I second.
Moving properly second, any questions? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Low Savannah Council of Government Workforce Board. We got 2 vacancies. Now, Ms. Conner, you fill one of those vacancies. Now, we have still got 2 more. One more. Okay. Any nominees? How often do you meet? Quarterly?
Quarterly, I think.
So it won't take a whole lot of time, once every 3 months.
You don't have somebody.
Okay? Well, I will ask council to bring back a nomination, and we'll move forward. If anybody out in the audience want to volunteer, we'll certainly entertain that too.
We'll bring something back.
We'll bring something back, okay? Sounds great. Before we go into executive session, just want to give anybody who have not had a chance to say anything. If not, we're going to take a 5-minute break and we're going to go into executive session. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Thank you.
That's the grant from the officer agency.
Council?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the interim administrator to engage Shaheen, Hancock, and Godwin LLP for consulting services in our, to help us in our interim finance, for consulting services / interim finance director support.
Second.
Been moved properly second that we engage the aforementioned accounting firm for consulting services. Any questions? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And lastly, I was informed that we need to have an opportunity to purchase a vehicle for, I think it's for the emergency management.
It is, they were informed today, which is why it's not on the agenda. They were informed today that they could use their LEMPG grant to purchase a vehicle. They're using one that's on loan or gifted by the sheriff's department right now.
Okay.
The sheriff actually got a quote for the vehicle. It's not a new one. It's only got 19,000 miles on it. I don't have the details with me, but they can pay for the entire thing out of the grant. That was what they got, what they learned today that they didn't think they could do.
Okay.
The vehicle's $39,000 and some change, and the grant's 46 or 48.
Okay.
So the vehicle the sheriff found, the dealership's holding for us for a day or two.
Okay.
So if council wants to purchase that vehicle, if you just give me the word tonight, then I can get that taken care of.
And it's kind of unusual since it wasn't on the agenda, but I think it's important enough that we go ahead and move forward as quickly as we can.
Yeah, I don't like bringing things to you tonight.
I know you don't, and I'm surprised you did, but I'm trying
I'm
to.
surprised I did too.
Can I get a motion from council?
Well,
I gotta be,
who the vehicle going to?
Sir?
Who the vehicle going to?
It's going to go to emergency management. Is that how?
Yes.
That's Ms. Tower? Tower? Okay.
Chair.
Mr. Chairman, I'm making a motion that we allow the administrator to proceed with the LPMG grant to purchase a vehicle for EMS.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any question? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anything else, council?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moving properly second. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Can you get 3 leave?
2-1. 2-1.